Howdy guys, Andrew Marwede and Reid Frescura with the back nine of the Shootout.
Here in lovely Three Rivers, Michigan, playing Meyer Broadway course here. Got the Touch Twins commentary.
Where can you buy one, Andy? What's a touch?
Touch is actually a towel and a pouch combined in one, and you can support me and Reid's fundraiser tour by purchasing one, hitting us up on Facebook or wherever you can find us.
Yeah, let us know, we'll get one to you. Anyways, front nine scores, you've got Frescura at 3 down, Davis at 1 down, Marwede at 8 down, and Zog at 1 down.
Going into hole 10, 351 foot par 3, pretty uphill. I would say it honestly plays closer to 390 with how uphill it really is. And it really requires a super straight shot and probably, for most people, a flip up to flex just to make sure to get all that distance. I'd say the normal miss here is kind of leaving it short and having it hyzer out early.
Better too far than too long on this hole. First up, we've got Andrew Marwede. What are you throwing here, Andy?
Throwing my Star Thunderbird here, trying to throw it flat and crank over on it, and I just kind of threw it with hyzer. So that's kind of that miss I was talking about. Probably would have got pin high if it was flatter, but it'll be a long circle 2 putt. I think Ryan's trying to go for more of that hyzer flip turn with a distance driver, which seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, that'll give him a nice putt.
Definitely. 25-footer for birdie. I think Reid's, is that your crank?
Yes, sir.
All right, so he's throwing a crank, nice little hyzer flip, and doesn't look like you like it, but
pretty much doing the same thing as everybody else, just a little too much hyzer.
Yeah, but that'll be 40 feet for your 2-ish. Chris trying to do a turnover, but just leaves it a little bit too low and doesn't really give him much of a chance. But
he's using the Sanoose for his upshot. Comes in very nicely.
That's a nice approach to save his par. I'm looking at like a 55-footer into a... It was kind of windy on this putt. Gave it a half run, I'd like to say, but usually when I try to run those putts, I aim for the bottom of the pole anyways. So you were definitely a little closer than I thought. You were just outside circle, but able to connect on that one.
Thank God. Zog at about the same distance and makes good on it. Well done.
And then we're just left with me and Chris tapping our pars. I would say it's definitely a hole that you're trying to get, but I would say a good amount of the field is going to leave yourself at that circle's edge type of putt.
Yeah, I would say it's like a 60% of the bonus hole.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got hole 11, 302 feet. The play here is to penetrate that gap. A righty can throw turnover mid-range or a forehand flex flip up. I mean, really you just want to beat all these trees and punch down there for a nice look at 2. It's a pretty tough gap to hit, but if you can hit it, you're good to go.
As long as you're going through that gap and the disc is landing on an angle to skip, it should give yourself a nice easy putt. Ryan's going for more of that flex forehand, and that's pretty ideal. Kind of a cut roll, but it'll leave himself a circle's edge putt.
Got my ESP Wasp here. Trying to get the turnover a little bit.
Looks a little bit inside. Oh, it was, yeah. So it's going to kick a little bit to the left. You're going to be a good 80 or 90 feet away, So we'll see what you got from there. And I make pretty much the only mistake you can make and just leave it a little bit too high.
He's not happy about that one.
It's kind of my bread and butter is that flip up Firebird shot, so I'm kind of disappointed. And Chris going with a super overstable disc. He threw that on a lot of anhyzer, and that was absolutely perfect.
Ooh.
That was a great shot. This is one of those few times where I just can't throw my peg in my upshot, so I wasn't too happy about that. But I was fine with the outcome of that. Out. Reid from about 90 feet, absolutely cans it.
Catching the crew view.
That had to have been at least 90 feet.
I would say like 85.
Dude, that's so hard.
So
high.
hyzer.
And so much hyzer. That was nasty.
Alright, got Zog from about 30 feet.
See, that putt was actually probably 4 times harder than you think it was, just because of the fact of getting big putted. So that was a great putt from him.
Big putting's a thing, folks. If you don't know, look it up.
And Chris is going to tap in his birdie, so everyone here with birdies except for myself, losing a stroke to the card. Moving on here, we got hole 12, 544 feet, par 4. For your drive here, you don't necessarily have to go distance driver. I know a lot of people, righty backhands, going to throw a fairway driver. Just try to get through this gap on hyzer and land right about where the camera is now. And then for your upshot, either going big hyzer or up the middle. And this year they did actually add out of bounds on the left and right side. So you had to be super cautious on your tee shot to make sure it lands in bounds to give yourself an opportunity to get a birdie.
Yeah, placement shot on this hole is not a bad option.
And I know in past years of this tournament, I've seen Reid go over the top and get within putting range. So definitely probably out of the option with this added out of bounds.
Oh, we've got Zog with a super aggressive play with a roller.
He did say, though, he did not know there was OB, otherwise he would have not. That's what he's saying right there.
Oh my gosh. The agony.
That was a good shot, though. I mean, he's just out of bounds by a few inches, I'm pretty sure. Reid, looks like you left it a little bit too high, but...
Just trying to play into the tree to crash for the layup.
Okay, fair enough.
Shot.
Yeah, right at the short pad, so still a possibility of a 3, but it's going to be pretty far away. So Chris got the shot down pretty well.
Yeah. Nice little trickle effect on that tree. Got Andy with his Star Thunderbird, just looking to get it down the fairway. Pewers it perfectly.
That was the best shot I've ever had in this hole. Not really too rewarding to get way down the fairway, but just it makes it a little easier so there's no trees in the way. Reid going forehand hyzer. That was 380 feet away, you'd say?
God, felt like so much further.
Yeah, you smashed that one. Gonna leave yourself about 40 feet away. Not sure what Ryan threw there, but left it just a foot too wide and clips that branch and knocks it straight down. Stays in bounds though, but...
Yeah, Chris Davis throwing a clear disc. Let's hope it lands in the fairway. Very nice. Should leave him with about probably 38 feet.
Yeah. And I was at that range where I didn't know if I wanted to go over top or straight through. So I threw it super high over that tree and...
It's perfect.
Yeah, lands about 20 feet away. Ryan throwing his AVR 3 and just put a little bit too much hyzer on it. You can kind of see right when he threw it, that wind just pushed it straight down to the left. But he'll have a circle edge putt. Just leaving yours just a tad bit low. Chris gonna try for his 40-footer, also just a tad low. Ryan from out circle's edge just leaves a little bit left, and I do remember it being pretty windy on this green, so that one felt good to stick.
Yeah, it's a great birdie on that hole. He's not happy.
And I would say it's usually one of the harder holes on the course before the OB, so I couldn't imagine how many big numbers we've got on that hole.
Yeah, I'd like to see the stats for that. I think, it was like 6 or 7 players took more than a 5 on this hole, but pretty devastating. But, I mean, there's a lot of places you can make up strokes, such as hole 13, 456 feet. This is really kind of a peculiar hole. Andy, could you maybe explain this one a little bit better?
So you have to have an absolutely perfect shot to 3 this, but if you play this hole smart, it should be a pretty easy 3 just by taking the hole in half, going halfway up the fairway and doing the same thing. There's 2 main routes to get to this basket, or to the landing zone I should say, is going up the middle or just doing a big righty backhand hyzer over the trees, which you'll probably see most of this card doing except for Reid. Just throwing a pretty stable destroyer as hard as it can, super high, and it somehow didn't actually hit a single tree, so it's pretty far up there, but... And I'm pretty sure you're definitely going for the 2 on this one somehow. If there's a way to do it, it's a lefty Annie.
That's right.
Flex out, yeah. And that got way down there. There's no way the camera could have got that.
Chris Davis kind of got a little bit right on that one.
It's a little bit of a grip lock, but it's fighting back. It's a pretty stable driver. He's probably going to be off in the rough somewhere. I think Ryan also just left it a little bit too high. Oh, no, it fought through. Oh, that one actually hit at a pretty good hyzer angle and bounced back into the rough. Not out of bounds, but the rough on this hole is not pretty. Chris pitches out to where the drive usually lands. And Ryan just had a super awkward stance. I guess for hitting that tree was a good kick, because it leaves a kick back on the fairway, but...
100%. Ooh, we got Chris here with a really nice upshot. Got a nice favorable skip onto that one.
Chris kind of impressed me with his forehand the last, or at least the front nine. Super smooth so far. Speaking of not super smooth, kind of sawed off my upshot there. You see, I was staring at the basket like, how did you mess that up? But it's still circle's edge, so there's a chance for a birdie.
Nice layup by Zog.
After everyone plays the whole hole, we get to Reid's drive.
So the only play here was forehand cut roller.
With a chally, right?
Only in Michigan.
I mean, you were only maybe, like, if you were looking at the basket, you were probably only like 60 feet away, so.
Ooh, nice putt, Andy.
Thank you. About 35 feet, slightly uphill. Felt good to hit that one after such a 4-up shot. I think Ryan's going to clean up his par. And Reid with the most interesting birdie on this hole.
See, why does Chris always carry it? Why does he always drag his cart over to the basket? It's like every hole I've seen him, if he's had a tap, and he's always dragging that cart.
We're going to have a talk with him about that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Moving on, we got hole 14, 231 feet, par 3. It's kind of, you throw downhill, and it goes right back uphill right as the cameras go over right now. So you're pretty much just trying to play mid-range driver into that hill and have it skip up to the basket, because it's usually not going to skip too far hitting the hill. Upwards, so just try to throw something as straight as possible. I'm throwing my super beat up Firebird here on a flip up, and that's kind of how I drew it up.
That was a nice throw.
About 15 feet past the basket or so. Reid throwing his Ringer GT, right?
No, it's a Ringer GT Flex.
Correction, Ringer GT Flex here with the park job. Excellent shot.
I wonder what Chris is throwing here, though. It looks kind of fast.
It's probably a super flippy fairway driver. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go forehand after.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd say this hole kind of favors the forehand just for that skip angle itself. Ryan trying to go back to that flex and just kind of clips a tree, and he'll have a super long look, probably 80 feet or so. Chris in a much worse spot than I would imagine that being. So he really had no line to the basket, so that was the best he could do, was just pitch out to the other side of the fairway.
Super aggressive run, hits the pole.
He was saying that was like 10 feet outside of his maximum distance jump putt. So he jumped on that as hard as he could. Almost made it. And Chris just laying up. He's going to have to settle for a bogey.
Nice 2, Andy.
And Ryan is going to settle for his par. This is kind of the last hole that's going to be relatively short, so one you want to definitely end on a birdie going into these much longer finishing holes.
Yeah, this is a Mando birdie you want to get.
So if you look at the scores down below, it's really kind of scores aren't too far away. We got myself in first at the moment, yourself in second, and not too far away, just in 7th place are the other 2 guys in the card. So pretty tight race going on so far.
Yeah, anyways, we've got hole 15, 420 feet. Every course has to have, a 420 hole. There's actually OB lining the left side and the right side, which adds a lot more difficulty to this one. But, ideally, if you can just stay in the fairway and get a look for 2, it's pretty basic. Just bomb one out there.
I'd definitely say without the OB, it plays as like the hardest par 3 ever because it's so uphill. But with the OB being a par 4, it's kind of it made me want to lay up, but it was like the worst layup shot ever. So got kind of lucky, and that did not skip. It stayed in bounds. It stayed right where it hit. So I got super fortunate. Of a very long putt for a 2.
This one, just a little wide.
That one flips over a little too much, and Had all the distance to get there, but just a few feet out of bounds, so he's going to be taking it pretty far back, so he's going to have to scramble for his 4.
Got Zog with a nice turnover. Will it make it back? Yes, it will.
And that's why this hole is so tough, because you had to commit to that distance shot, full speed, full flex to get that distance.
Yeah, and like it's been all day here. It's kind of windy, so definitely adds a little bit of difficulty.
Chris' shot looked pretty good out of the hands. That wind just knocked it down, didn't give it a chance to hyzer back, so he's going to be also out of bounds pretty far back, I would say. Kind of a scary upshot, too, with that OB less than 30 feet from the basket.
Yeah, because there's OB behind it, too, right? Yeah. Got Chris here probably with his sinus, I would guess. Great up.
Making both those up shots look really easy.
Now, were you running this one or just trying to play smart?
See, sometimes I don't even know. I just kind of throw it. That was one of those ones where I just try to put it as soft as possible, and if somehow it went in, it did. But I'm happy it's within 10 feet.
Ooh, got Zog with a super aggressive shot. Thankfully, it stays in bounds.
I have a tester putt coming back, though.
Yes. Easy. Easy.
Frisbee putting in for his par.
Easy. Does he bring the cart this time?
Yep. Oh,
No.
He didn't. That towel tricked him. He must have heard you or something, so he didn't bring it. We got hole 16 here, 430 feet, par 4. The tee pad is pretty low comparative to where you want to try to release your angle. You're going straight uphill, and it goes right back downhill. So really getting that disc stay nose down and still caress that hill to get all the distance you need is super crucial. I don't think there's any out of bounds on this hole, so it's a pretty easy par 4. I would just say it's a super tough par 3. It's definitely one of those tweener holes where a max distance shot you can get there.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's obviously blind off the tee. We got Andy with his destroyer, I would assume.
It started to flip, but as soon as it got that nose up, like I was saying, that wind just gonna push it. It's gonna stall out and go left. Ryan with a perfect correction, keeping that nose down, making sure it's turning most of the way, and then the very end gonna hyzer back, and that's in the circle. That's a crush.
Should be a look. Got a TI nuke here. Also gonna get it in play.
And being a lefty, you can just throw it as wide. I mean, you're just throwing a hyzer at that point, but that's a full. It plays like a 450 foot, if not more, hyzer. So it's pretty much everything you got.
Yeah. Now this one just for some reason kept turning over a little much, but we did find it eventually.
And it's not too far away. I mean, if he wanted to, he could run that. He's only about 80 or 90 feet away.
A little bit of a window there.
See that wind drop just knocked it straight down. I thought it was a pretty good run, but once again, my runs are 10 feet short, so.
It's never a bad thing.
Chris decides to lay it up.
Oof.
Taking a little extra time in this one. Make sure that one goes in. And who are you exactly waving to on that one? Did someone? Is there a big gallery on this?
It's always practice.
Yeah.
Good practice.
That's a good point. So I'm going to be cleaning up my 3 here. I think Ryan and Chris is going to be doing the same. Did not bring a chart on that one either. Most of the way.
What are you laughing about over there?
Oh, there's 2 people walked behind the basket, and there was his putter right underneath the basket, right? So I was like, wow, that was a crazy drive with a putter, and they both just looked like there's no way he threw a putter that far. So just trying to work the crowd.
Hole 17, 281. Another Michigan hole. Just watch out for those plinko trees, and you'll be good to go. Raised basket adds a little bit of difficulty, but it's another one of those holes that would be very nice to get. A lot of the righties like to throw a backhand.
It's like you're trying to go a flex with something stable, or is that more of a flippy disc, just a flip
Yeah,
over?
it was actually a Buzz SS.
Oh, okay. Throwing my Sexton Firebird here, really trying to shape the shot of the hole on a flex. And skips up nicely to about circle's edge, maybe a little closer than that. Leaves it pretty wide, but
gets through everything.
Could not believe that it got through.
It's beautiful. Only in Michigan.
Chris throwing a fairway driver here, trying to flip it up a little bit, but keeps it hyzer. Nice little tree bounce though, and he's gonna be inside the circle. 4 drives inside on the circle on this hole is pretty tough to do, I would say.
It's pretty impressive.
It's one of the shorter holes on the course, but a tricky one with the amount of trees. And a couple nice circle's edge putts in a row. Possible star frame, unless I just jinxed it. I don't remember. Chris connects. Nice 2. And Ryan's going to tap in for his birdie. Almost beating the CTP on that one.
Yeah, it was a close one.
Last hole of the day, hole 18, 436 feet, par 4. I can tell you this, it definitely plays more than 436 though. It goes downhill right away, but once it goes back uphill, it's just so far uphill. And they added OB to the right of the basket, and they actually moved the basket back about 60 or 70 feet. So they're just making this hole like full flight smash. You're maybe gonna have a jump putt, and the jump putt's gonna be a death putt with that road behind the basket being out of bounds.
Definitely, yeah.
Should be an easy 3, but some of the players are probably going to be wanting to get a 2 on this one. Speaking of one of those guys, someone who throws far, throwing your titanium nuke, a little bit of a wind bounce on that one, but definitely got all the distance. Just a little bit to the left and
oh my gosh.
But at least you're going to have an uphill look putt at it, so it's on the safer side.
So how come you went forehand instead of backhand here?
Because if somehow I have a good throw, I can reach it out of bounds. And knowing of like how good I was playing, I just did not want to end the day on a 4. So I was just playing for 100%, just playing for a 3 on that one.
That's fair. There's some strange wind out there, turning over Zog's shot a little bit much.
If you turn over a backhand to the right and it gets through, you're never going to find that. And if you do, you're never going to get a par. So you really want to make sure to stay in the fairway on this one. Which everyone seems to do. I wouldn't really call these routine upshots either, because if you leave it too far right, you're out of bounds. And if you leave it too far left, it's going to roll down the hill and possibly out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough shot with that elevation.
Throw my Pro Pig upshot here. Thankfully, it sits right out next to the basket, and Ryan...
That almost looks like he threw a distance driver again.
If not a really overstable fairway.
Yeah.
You're definitely running this for the eagle.
I was praying it would roll OB, but just didn't want it. Got Zog here with a little bit of a death putt. Chain starred. That'll happen.
Chris with another scary putt. Misses a little bit. Am slide going to be tapping in for his 4, I believe. So yeah, everyone's going to be tapping in.
Oh, what a gentleman. That's how friendships are made.
So that finishes the back 9. Pretty hot back 9 from Reid, who's shooting 8 down. Myself right behind him, 7 down. And Ryan and Chris found out with 3 and 2 down. So the round 1 standings are myself at -15, Nate Wagrin shooting a hot 12 down.
Ooh.
And followed by Reid shooting 11 down. So make sure to stick around, like, subscribe, catch us for round 2.